How's it going, Dan?
It's going well. How about you?
I'm doing great. For the folks at home that don't know, this man is Dan Brdar, who is a president and CEO of Ideal Power. Ticker on the NASDAQ is IPWR. Dan, good to talk to you. You're doing some great things. I know you had earnings come out, I believe, on Wednesday. But for the folks at home that might not be familiar with your company, give us a brief overview of what is it that you do, please.
Yeah, our company makes a power semiconductor device. It's really used for power switching for applications like renewable energy, electric vehicles, EV charging, on the utility side for things like solid state circuit breakers. And it's all about making those applications more efficient. So there's more useful energy for the application. So, for example, in an electric vehicle, our technology enables them to get greater range. If you've got solar with energy storage at your home or your business, more useful kilowatt hours for you.
All right. Now, you had reported earnings, as I mentioned, on Wednesday, I believe. Can you give us insights and some glimpses of the highlights from that report, please?
Sure. Since our last reporting, we've had quite a few really significant events that have happened here. First was we're now engaged with our third global automaker who is looking at our technology for use in their next generation EV platforms. We've got two top 10 automakers that we're already working with. Stellantis is one of the ones we've named, but we've now added a third automaker. So we're seeing great interest from the auto sector for our technology and in the way that they can lower the cost and improve the range of the electric vehicles. We added a second distributor for our products. As a small company, we rely on this distribution network that's been built for semiconductors and power electronics to reach those end customers. We added a great one called Ryosho. It's got great presence in Asia. We actually also qualified our second semiconductor wafer fab. We have one that we qualified in Asia. We qualified a second one here now in Europe. So we've got two really diverse locations to have our product made in case we have supply chain disruptions again, and plenty of capacity that will serve the customers that we're targeting here for the next several years.
Yeah,
we started getting customers that were in our test and evaluation program converted into starting to order commercial product for us.
Okay.
So we've got really a lot of big things that have happened here since the last quarter, and really driving that customer engagement to get through that long process of evaluation and adoption.
So you've got great partnerships that you kind of mentioned and talked about there. Any insights on the revenue growth that you're seeing?
Yeah, the revenue that we really are focusing this year, it's really development revenue where we're either being funded by some of these customers to do things specifically for them, or there's small volume orders as they start to look at using our products for some mock-ups of their own applications. We expect that to start to ramp as we get into 2025. So, we've got really large companies that we're working with across a variety of segments or names of companies that people would recognize. And although we've been able to name Stellantis, we hope to be able to name more as we go along here and get designed into some of the products and these big companies are working on.
Now, I think you briefly touched on this, but I wanted to see if you had any more insights about the third global automaker announcement that you just kind of mentioned. Why is that kind of important in the sense of to your bottom line, to the revenue growth? How is that going to help take this company to the next level here in, say, at the end of 2024 or 2025?
If you look at the auto segment, whether it's a hybrid vehicle or electric vehicle, they need an enormous amount of power semiconductors. And they're really trying to tackle their two big issues, which is electric vehicles are too high in cost, and there's a lot of range anxiety that's keeping people from buying them. Our technology directly addresses both of those. So the more automakers we work with, the longer, the bigger opportunity we have in the long term here, because they drive huge volumes in terms of what they're going to need for their generational platforms here for electric vehicles.
And then the second distributor agreement, tell me a little bit more about that.
Yeah, we actually signed one agreement with a company called Richardson Electronics earlier this year, who is a great distributor, but we needed someone also that had strong technical sales and strong customer base in Asia. So Ryosho is part of Ryoden Corporation. They're a publicly listed company over on the Tokyo Stock Exchange.
Yeah.
And they really are a great company for bringing new semiconductor technology to a customer base that we as a small U.S. company would have a hard time reaching on our own.
And then I think it was the phase 2 that you completed. What's the next step there and the process going forward?
Yeah, with Stellantis, we've actually successfully completed the first 2 stages. We're looking to get into the third stage, which is really where they bring the tier 1 suppliers in. They have gone out to about a half a dozen tier 1 suppliers. who are going to design and provide the drivetrain inverter for the next generation of EV platforms that will incorporate our technology. Their proposals have been submitted to Stellantis. So as they get through that evaluation process, then we'll start to work directly with them. And we'll start to actually see our technology put into the drivetrain inverter and test it.
All right. And then so is there a timeline on that, by the way? I know you said you're getting started, you're going to. Is there like a timeline of finish, I guess?
Well, the objective for the power module that incorporates our technology is to have something that's production ready for 2025. What we do see is Stellantis is kind of slow in their decision-making process, as you would expect for a really big company that's been through mergers and reorganizations.
Yeah.
But they're clearly committed to their next generation EV platform, and we're excited to be part of what they're doing.
And then speaking of excitement, is there anything else that folks should be familiar with in terms of what's coming down the pipeline? Any catalysts that they should be aware of for, say, the next 6 months to 18 months?
Yeah, we'll be adding additional distributors for our products. We're going to be having our first sales of our SymCool IQ, which is an intelligent power module. It's a module that incorporates some controls into it. We're going to be converting some of the large OEMs that we're working with in our test and evaluation program into design wins. So really focusing on that next step in commercialization to actually start to drive the product demand and revenue that we're going to be implementing here over the next couple of years.
Are there any challenges that you kind of see coming up, especially with the election year? I always say this and preface it with, here at Benzinga as a company, we don't really care who wins. It's more about informing our viewers of policies and things that might impact companies. Are you concerned or, thinking about any regulations that might come down or any tailwinds that might help out the company as well?
What we really see is there's two tailwinds that are really driving our technology, and that is the adoption of electric vehicles, which is clearly not going to slow down. I think the focus is really becoming now on how do you make them more affordable and deal with the range issue, and the adoption of renewable energy, because we help make renewable energy more affordable and more efficient also. Those are global macro trends that aren't going to change. So we think we're bringing out a technology that can improve a broad variety of these applications at the right time, regardless of what happens politically.
Yeah, I appreciate the insights. Is there anything else that I'm missing? Anything else you want to talk about? Any topics I didn't get a chance to bring up? The floor is kind of yours.
Yeah, just, I think if people want to learn more about the company, go take a look at idealpower.com. You can learn about the company and the products. We've got a lot of exciting things that we've got in the pipeline here on the industrial side with people working on solid state circuit breakers, and continue to work on the electric vehicle side as the companies focus on the next generation. So I think we're going to have a lot of interesting things coming out here over the next year or so.
All right, you got it. The website is in the chat. Dan, thank you so much. I appreciate your insights here.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. You bet. That is Dan Brdar, who is a president and CEO of Ideal Power. Ticker on the NASDAQ is IPWR. You've got the link in the chat as well if you'd like to check out more of their story. And I think, as we continue in this energy focus, whether it's because of Bitcoin, whether it's because of EV, whether it's because of AI data centers, I think it's in play. And, as always, you've got some insights here. Do your due diligence and see what's worth investing your hard-earned money in. But this is definitely a space that I know I'm talking to my nephews and nieces about kind of having in their portfolio for the long term.